We are so honored today to have Dr. May Edwards, the FinCEN whistleblower. And Dr. Edwards, I've got to tell you, you look incredible. Could you explain your regalia that you have on today?
Yes, I can. So I am a tribal citizen of the Chickahominy tribe here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I have on our traditional buckskin regalia. That's what I have on. And then in my hair is otter right here. So this is otter. And then in my headpiece is a gift that I was given by Chief Anderson of the Yasmine tribe here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I was blessed with it as a warrior token for what I actually did for the American people.
And I just want to say quickly that you did something incredible for the American people. How can we help one another in the whistleblower world?
So I look at it from a whistleblower creed. Through our courage and our vulnerability, we are the speakers of an unarmed truth to the power, who are best remembered and best loved. Because somehow truth tellers, whistleblowers, are not ever in any circumstances truly alone. While others turn a deaf ear, we answer the silent call, even if we are an army of one. Truth will prevail in darkness as long as there is one soul willing to forge for the light. And that's what we are in this whistleblower world.
Excellent words, excellent words. Tell us additionally, what words of support or advice would you give to other whistleblowers?
The truth is about being able to look your family and your friends in the eye and know that what you did not let them down because you told the truth. Because it's your family and your friends that are going to be there to support you till the end. And that the truth is that you did everything that you could, and there was not one more thing that you could have done. When I close my eyes and I think about the gold leaf stars on the memorial wall and my two brothers that I put there in my heart, I know my heart is full and my conscience is clear, and I served my country, and my whistleblowing found the truth of those fallen brothers, as well as so many other things. So they may rest at ease knowing that the truth will prevail, as well as the American people are a little bit more safer because of the whistleblowing that I did.
That is truly, you're speaking the truth there. America is safer because of your whistleblowing. What would you like to tell people about whistleblowers?
Whistleblowers and people answer the call of service in different ways. Whistleblowers across the globe represent the backbone of democracy and its most important moments when civil servants and citizens hold corruption accountable, while the corrupt parties attempt to overturn the whistleblowers' cards of truth. And that creates a domino effect of unearthed domestic and foreign bribery, lies, and political decay. Institutions do not defend themselves. Individuals and whistleblowers do that. It takes public servants to defend our system, to ensure those checks and balances. As public servants, we know what it means to take an oath under God and our Creator to the Constitution, what it means to defend the Constitution, and that our Constitution indeed is a divine inspired document. It's because of whistleblowers that the government is held accountable, because the government does not hold itself accountable.
Boy, you got that straight. I thank you for your time. You are a hero and a warrior. Thank you for your time for National Whistleblowing Week.
Thank you, Jane.
My dear Yasmine, it is such a pleasure to have you on for National Whistleblower Week. What would you like to tell us about whistleblowers and their place?
Well, first, thank you very much for this opportunity to share my experience in Switzerland, a country that among the democratic nations represents perhaps the worst case scenario in terms of protection of whistleblowers. Well, you asked the question how we can help each other in the whistleblowing world. I would like to start by saying that no one understands a whistleblower situation better than another whistleblower. Someone who has made the journey and has personal experience with the decision-making process and underlying motivations, risk and pitfalls, challenges, suffering and sacrifices, hopes and expectations, joys and deceptions, and understanding the significance of the battle. As such, whistleblowers can be trusted confidants or advisors to individuals who are considering to become a whistleblower or are still struggling. They can be their conversation partner, helping them to make the right decision, giving them moral support, and sharing their joy and frustration. Those with specific skills in communication or language can help other whistleblowers to communicate, because communication is essential in this process. As whistleblower organizations, we should help whistleblowers to have their voice heard by relevant authorities or the general public. For example, by contacting the competent authorities on their behalf or publishing articles telling their story as the whistleblowing network news does it, or for instance, doing petitions, or to help them in identifying honest lawyers who will defend their rights justly and fully, or media outlets that will follow their case with transparency and honesty. Well, you ask me what words of support or advice I would like to give to other whistleblowers. Well, I would like to say that each whistleblower's situation, personal situation, and each country legal system is different. Therefore, it's difficult to give general advice. That said, I would like to make a few points. Based on my experience in Switzerland, I would not encourage anyone to become a whistleblower. However, if they decide to go that route and become a whistleblower, my advice to them is this. They should know that for some, the road may be long and arduous, and their battle might be the battle of their life, leading to fundamental changes in their lives and even personality. They should mobilize their force, their strength, to commit themselves fully and believe in their cause and objectives. I will also tell them that no one has a 360-degree view of their situation. Therefore, no one can tell them what is right for them and what they should do except themselves. They will need to consult, but the final decisions must be theirs and theirs alone. I will tell them not to make a decision to evade a difficult situation, but to make a decision that is in line with their inner desire and values and take them to their happiness. Another question that you have asked me is what I would like to tell people about whistleblowers. On this point, I have a lot on my heart, but few is that I want to tell people that whistleblowing is not about the messenger, whether they are considered a hero or a traitor. It's about people's fundamental rights and interests. The right to know, the right to freedom of opinion and expression, the right to safety and protection, and the right to justice. Whistleblowers are the guardians of the public interest, and whistleblowing is the last shield in public protection and hence a critical intervention. Retaliation against whistleblowers and their ostracism are the root cause of all evil. It allows the corruption of the system to prevail. Its consequences manifest themselves in various ways and compromise public safety in a broad range of areas: health, medicine, food, environment, education, transport, construction, finance, and human rights. As in the expression, The fool opens the door and the sage follow. The whistleblower brings the information, but it is then up to society to react and make the necessary corrections and bring change. Well, thank you very much for this opportunity on the National US Whistleblowing Day.
Thank you, Yasmine. You are a bright light in an otherwise dark world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laser, it is so much of an honor to have you with us today for National Whistleblower Week. We are delighted you are an advocate and a whistleblower, and I just really thank you for coming aboard. Tell me, how can we help one another, speaking of that, in the whistleblower world in which you are so vocal? Please tell us.
The way to do it is unity. Right? Basically, when we go to the authorities and the courts and the press, we are trying to get the word out of our situation to a level of power equal to the foe that we are fighting. And again, you've seen Stephen Donziger's case or my sweetie Judge Mary Elizabeth Bullock's case. Even when you get a lot of attention, the attention needs to rise to the level of power equal to the foe that's doing the suppressing. Because basically, no matter what you call it, we're truth tellers. We're tellers of facts. And the goal of the bad faith parties is to quash the truth. And our goal is to get the truth in the hands of somebody that cares enough and is significant enough to make a difference in the result.
Excellent, excellent advice. What words, Laser, would you give of support or advice to other whistleblowers?
To find people in similar situation. You know, Jane, that I've been called a serial whistleblower for doing it for over 20 years. I was doing it before Dodd-Frank. So in the case of the Petters Ponzi, Mark Dreyer's Ponzi, the Madoff Ponzi, Palm Beach Links, all the other people that I helped get arrested and stop their fraud and Ponzi schemes, I was doing it by myself and screaming at people for 8 years in the Department of Justice and the press and everything to pay attention. And then once they get big media attention, everybody pays attention. Well, and people come to me because I've been into over 169 articles and several documentaries, thinking that that'll solve their case. It's not just one, it's many. You need a team of people to be paying attention. And I just had a conversation, an email conversation today with the OCCRP, a worldwide organization like Transparency International, wanting to do a survey of how they could do better. How you do better is you listen. If you listen to other whistleblowers and care, and the key that you do, and my sweetie does, Judge Mary Elizabeth Bullock, and others like Julie O'Connor, is you listen and you report, because the public pays 10 times or 100 times more attention when other people are telling your story than when you do it. We need people to give us the strength through unity in order to keep going. Or you just feel like nobody cares and you wind up giving up. You are one of the rare people who won your case and is now, decades after, still fighting strong for justice for others. And that's what helps us defeat this big evil, this crime and corruption thing that most people don't want to hear about.
Wise words, Laser, wise words. And what would you like to tell people about whistleblowers?
Well, whistleblowers are truth tellers. That's unfortunately, society doesn't want to hear the word corruption, and they don't want to hear the word truth, because hearing the word truth implies that there's lies running amok. But that's the reality, because society as a whole buries their head in the sand, because the press is bought and paid for a lot of times, buries their head in the sand about the issues. It doesn't get the attention that it needs. So corruption and crime and cover-ups are proliferating taking the advantage of the fact that we're not unified together and getting to the truth. The truth is what matters. And the wonderful thing about the truth, Jane, as I've always told you, it's inflexible and immortal. No matter what you do, how much mud you bury it on, it never wanes, it never dies, it's always there, and it never changes.
You are a wise man, a warrior, and a hero. Thank you, Laser. And National Whistleblower Day is about people like you, the heroes in our society. So we have with us right now Sara, who is a shining light in the whistleblower world. Sara, I just love having you and having your vignette because I think you're an important person in the whistleblower community and you have a lot to share. What would you like to share with us today?
Well, for me, whistleblowing was the technique of last resort. Before blowing the whistle, I had contacted both federal agencies that were not compliant with their own rules and regulations. I contacted the Office of Inspector General of both agencies. I filed a lawsuit. I talked with reporters, and I had multiple conversations with staffers on the Hill to no avail. Despite these attempts, the federal agency was still endangering the lives of Peace Corps volunteers, and through my whistleblowing, it became clear that volunteers have no mechanism with which to hold Peace Corps accountable. Whistleblowing exposes gaps in capabilities, procedures, protocols, and systems. If whistleblowers do not say anything, then they become part of the problem. If I had not said anything, then I would have become part of the problem. I would have become part of the system that had resulted in my injury. As a result, I would not have been able to look at myself in the mirror. I choose to live with integrity. I choose to listen to my conscience, and I choose to stand up strong with self-respect and dignity. I have foresight and recognize the need to stand on the right side of history, and I choose to say something when I see something. I felt like I had the responsibility to protect others, to ensure that others did not have to endure what I had to endure during and after my service as a Peace Corps volunteer. So as a whistleblower, I have been belittled, I have been victim blamed, I have been shamed, I have been shunned from the Peace Corps community, I have been ridiculed, I have been questioned, I have been dismissed, I have been isolated, and I have been lonely. Most of all, I have been betrayed by the federal agency that claimed that its #1 priority was my safety and security. The ramifications of experiencing such disparaging emotions are long lasting. Instead of spending time on relationships, I conducted endless hours of legal research and meetings. Instead of spending time on my career, I spent countless hours drafting hundreds of emails and writing ideas on how to further support the volunteer. I participated in meetings with numerous staffers who were looking at their phones, just waiting for me to stop talking. Ultimately, I have invested my blood, sweat, and endless tears into ensuring that Peace Corps volunteers are afforded the same care and protection that other federal employees enjoy. Through my hard work, it has been recognized that more needs to be done to ensure for the health, safety, and security of the Peace Corps volunteer. However, to my dismay and disbelief, even with this hard work, there currently remains absolutely no mechanism with which to hold Peace Corps accountable. This level of impunity for a federal agency is completely unacceptable and illustrates the inability of Congress to provide proper federal oversight. This has been a frustrating, disheartening, discouraging, and isolating journey. Truthfully, whistleblowing has been a largely negative experience for me, with hefty doses of hard work, research, persistence, and dedication that requires the most resilience of even the strongest humans. I did all of this to ensure that no one else had to live through the nightmare that I had survived. I wanted to protect others, and I wanted to ensure that no one else's lives were endangered in the manner that mine was. I wanted to be able to look at myself in the mirror every day and truly know that I had worked as hard as I possibly could to protect others. I wanted to live as a person for all seasons. Honestly, I also wanted to feel a sense of vindication. that I was not broken. The system was broken. During this journey, I have met many individuals who are making similar decisions and who are standing up against powerful and influential officials and who are choosing to live a life of integrity. Meeting and conversing with such courageous individuals are what gives me hope for the future and provides me with a sense of inspiration and solace. If you blow the whistle, you will put your career at risk. You will have to compartmentalize your life and only tap into those aspects of whistleblowing when you can emotionally, mentally, and physically withstand the onslaught of feelings of betrayal, shame, and disappointment. While my experience has been difficult, I recognize that I am one of the lucky ones. I have not been personally threatened, nor have I, nor anyone in my family been physically attacked. Sadly, in today's current political environment, the threat to whistleblowers remains grave, as several individuals do put their lives on the line to blow the whistle and actively choose to confront corruption and dysfunction. Unfortunately, this unique journey is only for those courageous individuals who have the resilience, resolution, and resources to do the right thing. Overall, the world would be a better place if more people stood in support of such characteristics and individuals.
Sara, that is a powerful, powerful statement. I just stand in awe of what you have done and what you have represented. And I just think you are a very unique whistleblower who has a lot to offer. Is there anything you'd like to tell people about whistleblowers?
We're just everyday people. There's really nothing different about me. We all put our pants on one leg at a time, as the saying goes, right? Yeah, I don't really have any, I just feel like whistleblowers are everyday heroes to a certain extent.
Today, we're very honored to have Dr. Kimberly McLear with us. She is a renowned whistleblower, and we're just delighted, Kimberly, to have you with us during National Whistleblower Week. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I always look forward to this time of year where our community can come together. So just thank you for the opportunity to chat with you.
You bet. Hopefully we'll be together next year in body. That would be nice. Dr. Kimberly, how can we help one another in the whistleblower world?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So I think what a lot of people really don't understand about whistleblowing is the immense toll that it really takes on us as individuals, and also the toll that it takes on our support system, whether you're speaking out over discrimination injustices or things related to regulatory, financial, whatever it is, right? That act of courage and multiple acts of courage is so taxing on any person. And I think that what we can do better as a whistleblowing community is, number one, we have to be there for each other. Because there are so many different ways that you can speak up, wide ranging. I'm active duty in the Coast Guard myself, in the military. The military is its own separate institution. It's very different than some of the other types of institutions. And so when we say whistleblowing, it's such a broad umbrella. And so I think as a community, just having even a deeper understanding that whether you're speaking out over fraud, waste, or you're speaking out about retaliation, discrimination, we really have to make sure that as a community, we're supporting each other first. As a community, we're also supporting our support system. And just because something didn't happen to us as a whistleblower, that doesn't mean it's not happening to someone else. So I think from what I've seen, and I work with a lot of survivors of full spectrum, from sexual assault to you name it. And it always really comes back full circle to people are kind of in despair, and there's still a lot of people really in disbelief that even after they've spoken up, they're frustrated that they're not seeing the progress, the changes that are so desperately needed. And so as a community, if we're not able to support one another and offer that space of healing and solidarity, we really can't expect the broader community and sub-society to really appreciate where we're coming from. So that would certainly be the most important thing, is we're such a diverse community because of the diversity of what we're speaking out against, but we have to make sure that we always support each other and we always provide that space for healing, which is one of the reasons why I'm so excited about July every year. It's really an intentional time for us to come together as one community.
Wow, that's excellent advice. Kimberly, thank you for that. Excellent advice. I agree with you 100%. What words of support or advice would you give to other whistleblowers? And I know you're in communication with whistleblowers, so what words of advice or support do you give them?
Yeah, this is tough, right? Everyone has their own kind of motivations of why they choose to speak out, and why they, we've talked about the psychological toll, the emotional toll. There's inevitably going to be a financial toll, right? A lot of people may lose their job. It's a lot of things can occur, but I would say the fundamental advice always has to go back to, what are we grounding yourself on, right? It's a very difficult journey. It could be a lonely journey. So we always have to ask ourselves, why are we really doing this? Because if we're not grounded fundamentally in the why, all of those power structures, the isolation, the exclusion, being marginalized, being silenced, that's going to eat at you. It'll eat at any human being. And so the best advice I can offer is know why you are doing what you're doing. Know why you are choosing to be a whistleblower, and whatever your reason is, I won't place judgment in it, but whatever your reason is, stay grounded in that reason and ground yourself every single day, because it is a difficult path. It is not an impossible path, but you have to reground yourself. And at times, right, it's okay to choose yourself, meaning no one is asking anyone to sacrifice themselves, right? So know why you're speaking out and always make time to take care of yourself.
More excellent words of advice. I am very impressed, because these are things that whistleblowers need to hear. What would you like to tell people about whistleblowers?
I would want for the broader public to understand that I don't believe anyone really kind of gets out of the bed and says, I want to be a whistleblower. Yeah. I don't think we ask 5-year-olds, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they say, I want to be a whistleblower. I think if we were to ask, in both examples, either a 5-year-old or someone who's older in their career, when you get out of bed, what do you want to do? I think most people would say they want to live a life of purpose. They want to live a life of meaning, and they want to be aligned with their personal values and the values at their particular office or work or company organization. And they would prefer, right, not to be in a situation where they look around and no one else is saying what needs to be said. So I think if we tap back into, this really also is in the second question you asked about the advice. And I think for a lot of people, they may find grounding in purpose. And when we find grounding in purpose, then the decisions actually make themselves. So I would say we don't want to be branded as traitors, as, people that, all the labels that I'm sure people are familiar with. We're decent human beings, and we want to exist and work and function out of a place of passion and purpose. And a lot of people choose to speak up because they fundamentally care. They care not just about themselves, but they actually care about everyone else around them. And even they care about the future and future generations. So that's really what I would like for the broader public to understand, is that when they see kind of these negative labels that are being associated with whistleblowers, these are not folks that just woke up one day and said, I want to be a whistleblower. These are people who had passions and high hopes and optimism about the future, and they deserve to always be treated with dignity, even more so even after they've spoken up. So it's like I said before, it could be a lonely experience, but we have to appreciate that when people have the bravery to speak up, regardless if it actually changes a lot, right? Just that act of bravery, multiple acts of bravery, no one should ever be demeaned and mislabeled. No one deserves that. No one deserves that. So that would be my message to the broader public who maybe hasn't experienced those types of life-changing opportunities. that these are folks that are doing this from a place from their heart, and they're doing it in the best possible way that they know how to make things better for themselves, their loved ones, and for future generations.
I am so impressed with you. I just am. And I admire you so much. I have to ask before we go, grounding is so important. Where did you find yours?
Yeah, thanks, Jane, for that. For me personally, it comes from my family upbringing, and it comes from my love of studying history. And when I just think of all of the generations of freedom fighters and amazing humans that came way before me, my parents included, people have sacrificed so much to make our lives a little bit better. And I just tell myself the least I can do, and I stress the least I can do, is do my part. If there's something that's not right, speak up, and I'll deal with the consequences. And hopefully those consequences are a favorable outcome. But that's what grounds me, is just centering on all of the people throughout history and our humanity that have sacrificed, that have survived, that have thrived, right? They've done all these things to make sure that people like us can have these conversations, and keep living, right? Keep living, keep surviving, and keep thriving. So that's what grounds me.
Dr. Kimberly McLear, you are an impressive human being. You are a warrior. You are a hero. I just admire you. Thank you so much for joining us for National Whistleblower Week.
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute honor, and looking forward to reconnecting with the community in person.
Thank you, Doctor.